What is up, everybody? Hope you are having a fantastic evening. Normally, tonight would be a full film breakdown, but I don't know. I just feel like since the Niners haven't been playing well and their playoff chances are so much lower, that I don't feel like doing full film breakdowns right now. But I will show you some things from the film. I want to show a couple positives from Brock Purdy. I want to show something, a really good run from Garendo. I want to show a couple things that Brock needs to work on. And then I want to show you something completely random offensively that's going to give a little reprieve for Brock on a specific play. But then we're going to talk about the Deebo Samuel situation because, well, the 49ers can't not be boring for a week after they win, of course. Like something's got to pop off. So Deebo Samuel provided some awesome content. And then we're going to talk about the playoff chances. And I'm going to go over the scenarios and how the 49ers can get in and what would happen even if they won out and for them to not make the playoffs. So I'm going to go over all of that, plus take your questions, and we're going to do it all next. All right, welcome back to Last Second Sports, where we are giving you our take down to the last second. Like I said, it's normally a film review day. Not so much. We're going to go over a couple things. But before we get too far into it, I do want to make sure that I shout out the sponsor, Underdog, for being a great sponsor all year long. Link is in the description. Promo code LSS to get your deposit match 50% up to $1,000 plus your one free play, whether it is more or lesses, daily, weekly fantasy. Underdog has got you covered. Thank you, Underdog, for being a great sponsor all year long. All right, before we get into the Deebo stuff, I do want to show you a little bit of film. Just a little bit of film. So we're going to go over that real quick like. Okay. So first thing here is at around 9:46-ish. Right, we'll just start there. Okay. So this, I'm going to show you two really good throws from Brock. Then I'm going to show you two plays where he needs to do a little bit better. And then I'm going to show you a play where I know a lot of people were talking about it, but I think they had it wrong as far as what happened to Brock on this play. And then I'm going to show you the Garendo run as well. So this throw, I think the best throw of the day was to George Kittle. I'm sure you guys remember this. Let's take a look at it together. I think that's a really good throw. We'll watch it from multiple angles, but just want to show this one more time. Really good layered throw. Kittle's open, but he has to layer it over the defender. There's kind of other defenders in the area. I just think this is a really good throw. And if you look from this angle, it looks like he pump fakes to Garendo, and then he sees, oh, I got Kittle. So I'm going to hold on to this one. It's a good throw. It's a really good throw. I think his best throw of the day, personally. That's a nice throw. Okay, next throw is Isaac Garendo throw. Maybe I didn't have my. Yeah. Okay. All right. So two things. One, he's the one that changes the play here. So I like this already. He changes the play. He sees something. and goes from presumably a run to a pass and hits Garindo on the wheel route. Now, yes, it's not a perfect throw. I get that, but you have to take into account the circumstances. He knows he's got a free blitzer. He knows that right away, that he's got an opportunity to have a free blitzer here. Right. So he sees it. And he immediately just fades off the back foot, buys enough time. This is something that Jordan Love does really, really good job at. But then Jordan Love does it a little too much. He fades on his back foot for no reason sometimes. But this right here, he's got to fade on the back foot because if he just steps into the throw, he's going to get hammered and that ball's not going to get there. So he has to throw it off his back foot. Nice anticipatory throw. Good job changing the play. Really, really good on two fronts. I think the Kittle throw was better, but when you factor in that he's got to change the player, this might be the best overall play of the game. And a good catch by Garindo, by the way. God, he's got good hands. He's got good hands. Okay. Now I'm going to show you two plays where he's got to do a better job. Oops. First one here is he takes a sack. Now listen, I've been talking about this all season long about how he holds onto the ball too long at times. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. He leads the league in being the reason that a sack happens at the quarterback position more than anybody. So this is something that has happened all season long, but I just want to show it because I think he had just the one sack in this game, and it was on him. So you can add to that stat here. Now he hits the top of his drop. You're going to have Deebo break open on a dig, and you got Garindo underneath. He's basically just got to pick and choose. Where do you want to go with the ball? Instead, he just holds it, makes a great play to get out of it, and he still gets hit behind the line of scrimmage. But when he hits the top of his drop, he's got plenty of time here. Boom. You got to throw the ball, man. You got to throw the ball. You can't just stand flat footed at the back of the pocket without stepping up and expect to just sit there all day long. That's not the way it works. All right. So that was that. And then I want to show this one as well. Now he had 3 deep throws. The consensus was that he underthrew the ball 3 times. I think there's a reason that it happened on 2 of them, and neither of them are his fault. I'll show you the third one in a minute. This one, so I showed you the Garindo one. I think we can all agree. Like that's just a good throw. He had pressure in his face, free blitzer, stayed on his back foot, got rid of the ball. It's a good throw. Then we have the one to Juice, which I'll show you in a minute, also not on him. And then there was this one to Jennings, which is certainly an underthrow. Oops. Oh no. Oh no. All right, here we go. 30. All right, I think this is it. I think. No, that's not it. Shoot. I might have marked the wrong one here. Let's see. Yeah, I think I marked the wrong one. Not what I was looking to do. Um, Dang it. Because this one is not it. This was a throw to Jennings, but it was just an incomplete pass. And Jennings doesn't get any separation on this one. Not what I was looking for. Not what I was. Ooh, what's that one? What's that one there? Is this the one where he said he missed Pearsall? Let's check her out. Huh? I don't know. What route is Pearsall even running? If he's running a dig, you can't. That's the one, right? That he said he missed Pearsall? I don't. I don't know. I think that's a quarterback trying to pump up his rookie wide receiver. I don't know what route that was, but if it's supposed to be a see, look at where Purdy throws. Purdy throws it like he's leading them upfield, and Pearsall's running a dig here. Appears to be a dig. No, I don't know. Post? I don't know. I think they just weren't on the same page. He said he missed him, I guess. I don't know if I fully agree with that one personally, but at any rate. Dang it. I wish I had the frickin' Jennings one, man. Oh, this is it. Gosh, dude. See, ask and you shall receive. Ask and you shall receive. Here it is. Clear underthrow. That's a walk in for 6. Okay, cool. All right. Now I do want to show you the other one though too. 2350 I think it is. Yeah, this one. Okay. So this one also a lot of people are talking about is an underthrow to Juice. It's not his fault. He gets his arm hit halfway through the motion. You'll see. You can kind of see it here, but you definitely see it from the other angle. He like high fives the defender basically. He doesn't even get to follow through. All right, here you go. This is a perfect angle of it. And we'll slow motion watch. High five. All right, you see? We'll just play regular. He didn't even get to follow through. So I felt like that was important to show because there were 3 throws that we're talking about that were under throws. He brought up the Pearsall throw. Again, like I said, I think that's him trying to pump up his rookie wide receiver. I just think they were on different pages there. And then I want to show you the Garindo run because this was pretty sweet. First of all, you guys should recognize this. Green Bay Packers did this about 5 or 6 times when we played them. You should remember this. Should look very familiar to you. And a lot of people said, oh, it's just window dressing that the Packers are doing. They're really not doing anything special. It's just window dressing. Well, that window dressing worked against the 49ers. It's worked for them all year, and it worked here in favor of Garindo's biggest run. They have misdirection. You've got basically a whole spin move thing here going on. This is exactly what Green Bay did multiple times versus the 49ers, and it worked fantastic. Look at that. Just enough misdirection to hold everybody where they need to be held. And Garindo gets, I mean, when did he get touched? Let's see. Line of scrimmage is the 25-ish. He didn't even get a hand on him until 5 yards down the field. And it wasn't even a chance to make a tackle. It was just barely a hand on him. Look at this misdirection. This is great. Green Bay's been doing this all year long. And this is what I've been talking about, where it's like, yes, I understand people are injured, but it doesn't mean you can't be creative. This is a creative play call, and it works fantastically. I think the Garendo throw was a creative play call as well, and it worked fantastically. So, anyways, that's that. Just wanted to show y'all. And we're back in business here. All right, hold on one more time. Hold on. Get this going. Okay, there we go. Get rid of this screen. Stop screen. There we go. Cool. What does that mean? Let's see. See what y'all talking about. Where do you guys get this from? Like who says this? Who are you actually arguing against? I gotta know. Like who are you arguing against when you say this? Are you is that like to me? When have I ever said that? Or are you just like talking to like talk? Like, oh man. Like Pterodome, you're too smart for this, man. Like this discourse from you is like a little disappointing. I'm not gonna lie, because you're way, way, way too intelligent to just be making ish up on the fly. You know way too much, in my opinion. When we've had conversations, way too much to just be making stuff up on the fly. Nobody says that. Except for Dave. Dave apparently is saying that. Like he could throw the ball deep. It's not every quarterback can throw the ball deep. So, anyways, it's weird discourse that doesn't make sense. Well, okay, you're writing the book. Where? He gets it from X people you talk about every show when you make the Twitter fake voice. Which one? This one? I mean, really? I guess. I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about let's talk about Deebo Samuel because he had some interesting things today for no reason. Now, remember, we had George Kittle last week. I thought made some interesting comments in the post-game presser. I made a video about it where, to me, he seemingly threw Shanahan / Brock under the bus for not getting the football. Well, this week he got the football and he played very, very well with the football. But in lieu of that, Deebo Samuel only got 2 targets. I think he had 7 total touches. Only got 2 targets. And now he is frustrated he's not getting the ball, apparently. Now, before we get into what Deebo said, let's talk about Deebo Samuel's last 4 games. Deebo Samuel has 97 total yards and 0 touchdowns. That's not an average per game over the last 4 games. That is his 4 games combined. The last 4 games, Deebo has 97 total yards and 0 touchdowns. Okay? From scrimmage. Obviously, we're not talking punt return yards. So, that's the player that we are about to discuss. Deebo Samuel tweets out of nowhere today, about 3 hours ago, and says, not struggling at all, just not getting the ball. Now, when you hear that, or I hear that anyways, I'm not going to put words into your mouth. You can think what you want to think. But much like when Kittle said it last week, now Kittle obviously goes about things very differently. When Kittle said it, he said it with a smile on his face. And so a lot of people glossed over it, but it was there. He basically said the same thing as Deebo. The difference is Kittle is having one of, if not arguably his best year of his career. One of, for sure. Probably not the best, but it's up there. He's still playing at an extremely high level as George Kittle. And he said it with a smile on his face. Ah, shucks. Just George Kittle. Wish I got the ball more. Feel like I'm open, guys. And he did get the ball more and produce. Deebo doesn't like to talk to the media much anymore. But he just tweets out of nowhere. Not struggling at all. Just not getting the ball. So when I hear that, much like when I heard it from George, although different delivery, when I hear that, that tells me, well, there's only 2 reasons you're not getting the ball. It's either you're throwing your quarterback under the bus for not throwing you the ball if you feel like you're open and you're not getting it, or you're throwing your coach under the bus for not calling plays for you to get the ball. That's the way that I read that situation. Anybody else? You agree? You disagree? I feel like it's pretty cut and dry. One of, if not both. Whether that's the intention or not, you are throwing under the bus when you say that. And Deebo knows this because Deebo wasn't done there. He tweeted an hour after that, like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And says, hey, just because I voice my opinion, don't mean I'm hating on any of my teammates. Be for real. So we gotta be for real. We're the ones that completely took this out of context, Deebo. We gotta be for real. I mean, shame on anybody who thought that maybe you might be throwing either your quarterback, your coach, or both under the bus for the reason you're not getting the football and producing. Shame on us. Like, You tweeted out of nowhere, unprovoked. Now, obviously, I'm sure he's read Twitter. I tweeted out that he has 97 yards in the last 4 games. So maybe you read that. I doubt it. But he's been on social media and people are talking. And he felt the need to protect himself. And in doing so, he threw other people under the bus. And then tried to gaslight everybody and say, y'all are just making it up. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. Yeah, you are. Yes, you are, Deebo. And once again, this is a captain on the 49ers who has repeatedly on his podcast said that the 49ers are better than what they've shown. They're not. We are now almost done with the season. You are exactly who you've shown to be. You've put a target on your team's back in saying those things. You, after multiple bad games all season long, had plenty to say. Got into your teammate's face, not only got into his face, but taunted him on the sidelines for minutes after. I was at the game. I watched it happen for no reason. It's one thing to say lock in, get into a little scuffle, and remove yourself from the situation. It's a whole nother to have all of that happen and then proceed to taunt the players that you went after for the next 2 or 3 minutes while coaches are trying to move you along. Then he doesn't play well the next few games after that. The irony, right? The 4 games after that doesn't play well, including that game, I believe I might be talking about. His 4 games, 97 total yards, 0 touchdowns. All of a sudden, he doesn't have anything to say. He doesn't want to talk to the old media. But he definitely wants to set the record straight and jump on Twitter and let everybody know, not me, I'm not the problem. Look elsewhere. That's a captain of this football team. And you wonder why maybe, just maybe, this team has taken a little bit of a backstep. You might have a slight culture issue when that's one of the captains of the team. Maybe. Just throwing that out there. So, we're going to talk about what it looks like to cut Deebo Samuel and why they should cut Deebo Samuel this offseason. And I'm going to break it down for you in a minute. But first, let's get to these super chats. Dave says, look in the mirror, Jess. You're killing it. So pretty. I don't know how I feel about being called pretty, but I'll take it. I will take it. Especially now that you said no Diddy. Makes me feel a little better. Yeah, it says Deebo gonna sour on the fan base fast. You know what's interesting is my guy Marco tweeted out yesterday that Deebo may want out after this year. And a lot of people are like, man, you're just making things up. You're just stirring things up. And less than 24 hours later, Deebo comes out and says that. Find that interesting. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, he can sour on us, but as long as you play better, that's fine. Sir Cash Money says, hiya, Jesse. I'm kind of bummed today. I got banned from Walgreens because I kept forcing the 17-year-old cashier to answer ethical dilemma questions. Sir Cash Money, would not be surprised at all if that's exactly what you do in your personal time by the way that you super chat. I'm not going to lie. Dazza says Deebo has been getting the ball, just not doing anything with those targets. He hasn't earned more targets. Kittle has 3 more targets than Deebo, yet 250 more yards and 7 more touchdowns. One more time for the Deebos in the back. Deebo has been getting the ball, just not doing anything with those targets. He hasn't earned more targets. Kittle has 3 more targets than Deebo, yet 250 more yards and 7 more touchdowns. Not me, though. Can't throw myself the ball, guys. Can't throw myself the ball, but I'm not throwing a teammate under the bus either. Just can't throw myself the ball. Be clear about that. Harris says Deebo equals as useful as a red light in GTA. Deebo Samuel falling off before GTA 6 was released. Who had that on their bingo card, huh? Okay, let's let's talk about Deebo Samuel. And let's talk about this contract. I am going to share the screen again. And I'm going to make a case as to why I think they should cut Deebo Samuel. Here, let me see if I can get this. Oops. No. Man, oh man, why isn't this working? All right, let's do this. Because you don't want to cooperate with me. I need a producer. Jeez, man. This is insane. Insane work over here. Okay. Here we go. Deebo Samuel's contract. Here's why they should cut Deebo, in my opinion. Trade him if you can. Trade him if you can. I don't think anybody's going to take on this money from Deebo. But I hear a lot of people talk about the Deebo Samuel contract and making a case for why they shouldn't cut him. And I think that they are missing something very, very important. Okay. So Deebo Samuel, next year, his cap hit right here, you can see it, $28.29 million. Now, if you cut Deebo, and if you do cut Deebo, I would do it pre-June 1st and just take the cap hit and be done with it. If you do that, you're going to take a $31.5 million cap hit, which means you're actually not paying, but there's more money hitting your cap by $3.2 million than if he actually stays on the team. Now, sounds crazy, right? Like, come on, man. You're going to pay more money to not have him on the team. Why would you do that? Just let him play out the final year of his contract. I'll explain in a second. Now, your other option is you can cut him post June 1st, but that doesn't make any sense because you're going to pay $10.7 million to do so, or have a $10.7 million cap hit next year for him to not be on the roster. That'll save you $17 million, which is great in theory, but in 2026, you're going to have nearly a $21 million cap hit for him to not be on the roster. Okay? So, why am I proposing that the 49ers pay take a cap hit of $3.2 million more to have him not on the roster versus just keeping him on the roster? And right here is why. If Deebo Samuel plays in 2025 on the 49ers and then walks in free agency after 2025, which there's a high likelihood that would happen. One, why would you want to repay him to keep him here? Right? And two, 49ers cap-wise are going to be up against it a little bit more. Purdy's contract will start to kick in. Most likely, Deebo's not going to be here after next year. So if that is the case, Deebo Samuel plays out his contract. You're going to take a $28.2 million cap hit next year for him to play. But he's going to walk in free agency, and you're going to take a cap hit of $20.7 million in 2026 to not be on this roster. That's why you should cut him or trade him. If you can trade him, even if you can get a 7th round pick for him, you do it. But cut him or trade him. Take that 31.5 cap hit and be free and clear in 2026. No cap hit. Good to go. Move on. This is why you don't restructure players that haven't been playing the best, aka Eric Armstead, who this year you're paying, or you have a cap hit of like $10 million for him to not be on the team, and next year a $17 million cap hit to not be on the team. And Deebo, who they restructured his contract going into this season, had they not done that, this giant money that they pushed back wouldn't be there. This number would be much more manageable, probably in the $5 million range. But instead, you kick the can down the road and you're paying these guys to not be here. It doesn't make any sense. So I saw someone say, hey, or you could restructure him. No. Absolutely do not restructure him, because if you do that, you're going to add another year to the contract, and this $20 million is just going to move to 2027 and possibly more money. So don't do that either. Don't restructure him. Don't keep him on the roster. Get rid of Deebo. Cut him or trade him. I don't know that anybody's going to trade for him, but cut him and get him off of here. So don't allow him to stay on this roster moving forward. You're only hurting yourself in the long run, in my opinion. All right. So this right here, this nugget, this void year, is what everybody's missing when they look at Deebo Samuel's contract on the surface. This is what they are missing. They're missing that this void year means if he plays out his contract and walks in free agency after the 2025 season, the 49ers are on the hook cap-wise for $20.7 million. You've got to avoid that at all costs. Because to me, my whole premise of this retool for the San Francisco 49ers is that they should take all the cap hits they can in 2025 and be free and clear, so that in 2026, they've got a bunch of money. They got all their draft picks. Hopefully, again, you hit well in 2025. And then in 2026, you've got a crap ton of money and you're right back ready to compete for a Super Bowl if you do this thing right. But if you don't, then 2026 is possibly another down year, because you've got a bunch of money, a bunch of dead money on guys that aren't going to be here. And so now you're taking it on the chin in 2025 money wise. You're doing it again in 2026. And it doesn't make sense to do. Just rip the Band-Aid off, be done. Take the cap hit on the chin in 2025 and be free and clear in 2026 with guys like Deebo, Hargrave, and in my opinion, CMC. That's what I would do. Okay? Because I'm trying to avoid big cap hits for guys that are no longer going to be on this roster in 2026. It doesn't make any sense. Just be done with it. Maybe you can have a Denver Bronco type year where this was the year where they did that with Russell Wilson and still put together a good enough team to be competitive-ish. Maybe you can do that in 2025, sneak into the playoffs. You may not win a game, but you still are good enough to where it's like, okay, it's fine, but 2026, we have all this money available. We're good to go. That's what I would do. So as we talk this offseason, these are conversations that are going to come up a ton, for sure. And yes, still have a signed Deebo picture. It used to be right here. Now it's around the corner. Love Deebo, man. Always appreciate what he did for this team, but you cannot have a heart when making business decisions. You just can't. You have to know when a mistake is made or when a player is aged and you've got to move on. You have to. You can't, because you like a player, keep them around. Go Von Jinx wants to know what the cap hit is for Christian McCaffrey. Let's look at his scenario. Okay. Next year, 9.7 million at no, excuse me, 9.8 million. God, they gotta move on from him too. They've got to. 9.8 million. Then at 30 years old, 9.7. 31 years old, 25. And then you've got a void year in 2028 of $14.8 million. What's up, Dave? What do you got? Who are you talking to? What are you guys talking about? What's going on? Misread. I said 49ers film. You don't really, here's the problem. You don't really put commas in YouTube titles. You only have so many characters. So 49ers film, Deebo complains, and playoff chances. So we watched a little bit of film. Now we're talking about Deebo complaining. And then we're going to talk about the playoff chances. Okay. Let's look at CMC. So again, next year, 29 years old, $9.8 million. Then in 2026, 9.7. 2027, 25 million, 25.3. And then you have a void year of 20 and 2028 of 14.8 million. You're probably going to want to do the same thing here. I know it sucks. I know you're going to pay more money against the cap to not have him here. Okay. But you got to do it. You got to. Because if you do it and you take the cap hit of $22 million next year, you don't have any of this in 26, 27, or 28. 3 years, man. 3 years. You can just be done after that. Just be done. He's 29 years old, man. He's coming off of injuries. And it sucks. And we talked about it this offseason. And I said, the drop-off's going to happen for CMC. And it usually happens around 28 for most running backs. And I got a lot of pushback for that. I wasn't predicting that the drop-off would happen this year. But a lot of people are like, man, CMC's going to play into his 30s. I mean, he's just takes care of himself. And it's like, yeah, he does. But he's not any different. They just got to move on from these guys, man. They got to move on from these guys. They have to, in my opinion. Now, you could keep them through 2025 and then cut them in 2026. That actually might be the way to go. That's more you. I wouldn't. His is a little bit different than Deebo's. That's actually not the worst thing in the world. Not the worst thing in the world. If you wanted to keep him through 2025 and then cut him in 2026, you're going to take an $8.5 million cap hit. If you do it pre-June 1st, you still can avoid this and this, the 25 and the 14. That's actually not that bad. CMC can actually stay another year. I retract my previous statement. He can actually stay one more year, and that's okay. But you have to let him go after the 2025 season. So whether you want to release him this offseason, I'm fine with it. But he can stay one more year, and you'll be okay. Not the end of the world if he stays one more year. Dave says, you know how the blind kid and Dumb and Dumber says, "Pretty bird." He's like petting him. He's like, "Pretty bird, pretty bird." I call my employees pretty all day when they are killing it. Nothing to do with looks. All how that kid sounds in that movie. It's hilarious. Pretty bird. Such a good movie. What's up, PGZ? He says, "Salute, Jesse. Here to show some hawk love." All right, calm down. Okay. I don't need any love from your Seattle Seahawks, but I do appreciate you, PGZ. Dave comes in and says, "You can't see my individuals, so here. Where are the best places to eat in Florida and in Oregon? I'm taking a road trip soon, eating my way across the nation." That's the whole intent besides the ocean. That's interesting. I don't know. It depends. Like, are you looking for like the best food or are you looking for the best ambiance? I think that there's multiple ways to go there. Portland City Grills got good food and it's a cool place. You're kind of up high. You're on top of the city. You're able to look over downtown. I would probably go there if I was choosing one place in Portland. And then here, man, there's a lot of places I can give you. A lot of places. So I would say when you come to Florida, just hit me up and I'll make a decision by then. But there's a lot of cool, like oceanfront places that you can eat at here that are all really, really good. But in Portland, I would say Portland City Grill. I think that's your best bet. Dave says food, care less about ambiance. That sounds cool. Okay. Portland City Grill's got good food too. I don't know. I think Portland just has some really good hole in the wall Mexican food as well. So I'd probably recommend stuff that's like off the beaten path a little bit. El Indio's in Northeast Portland. Love that place. My favorite Mexican food ever. Um, I still think you can get good food at Portland City Grill, so I wouldn't take it completely off the list. Um, I don't know. I'd have to think about this one. You're kind of putting me on the spot. I want to give you good recommendations. There's definitely some good food spots, though, for sure. For sure. All right, let's remove this. Let's talk about the 49ers playoff chances. Okay, here we go. We good? All right. All right, 49ers playoff chances. First of all, they have to win out. That's number one. Right now, they have about a 9% chance to make the playoffs, 4% chance to win their division. They actually have a better chance to make it through the wild card than they do winning their division, in my opinion. So 9% chance to make the playoffs, 4% chance to win the division. I guess technically they have a 1% better chance to make it as a wild card with those odds, right? If they win all of their games, they have a 59% chance to make the playoffs. So still not the best, right? You're behind the eight ball so much. NBH, yes, I am from Portland. You're behind the eight ball so much that even if you win out, it's still only a 59% chance that you make it. And Steve-O says, hey, they don't have to win out. Mathematically, no. But you have to win out, Steve-O. You have to win out. And I'm going to give you the scenarios in which they not only have to win out, but a lot has to go their way for them to make the playoffs. Okay. So, first, I'm going to give you what happens for them not to make the playoffs, even if they win out. Okay. You have, if you win out, the division is still lost if the Rams win their final 3 games. Okay. So if the Rams win their final 3 games, those games are against the Jets, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks. So even if you beat the Rams, but they win their final 3 games, the Rams still have a tiebreaker over you in winning the division. Now, obviously, Seattle can still beat out the Rams, but you don't own any tiebreakers versus the Rams. You are not winning your division. The Seahawks, if they go 2-2 and you win out, but they beat the Rams, they also own the tiebreaker over you. They win the division. Okay? They win the division. Now let's look at the wild card. If you go undefeated down the stretch, you win these final 4. If Washington goes 3-1, you're not winning the wild card either. It is over. Or if the Falcons and Bucks win out, you're also not making the wild card. Because the Falcons in that scenario would not win their division, but they would own the tiebreaker over you. Okay? So you can go 5-0 and still not make the playoffs. Still not make the playoffs. In fact, a pretty good chance you don't make the playoffs. 4-0 at this point. They won their first game. They beat the Bears. So 4-0, and there's still a good chance you don't make the playoffs. That's why I'm saying if they lose another game, done. For sure. Because even if they win out, they still have a 41% chance to not make the playoffs. That's how ugly this thing has gotten. Now, here's how they can make the playoffs if they win out. They can win the division if the Rams lose to either the Jets or the Cardinals, and the Seahawks go 2-2, but lose in week 18 to the Rams. So the Rams, 49ers win out. Rams lose to the Jets or the Cardinals, but beat the Seahawks. And the Seahawks lose one of their other 3 games and lose to the Rams. You win the division. That's kind of a lot. Now, if that doesn't happen, you can still win the wild card if you win out and Washington goes 2-2 or worse, 2-2 or 1 or worse, and the Falcons or Bucks lose one more game down the stretch. That would also get you in. So wild card is you go 5-0, Washington goes 2-2 or worse, and the Falcons or the Bucks, not and, so Washington goes 2-2, and the Falcons or the Bucks lose one more game. Does that make sense? That's how you can win the wild card if you go 5-0. To win the division, you have to go 5-0. You have to hope the Rams lose to the Jets or the Cardinals and beat the Seahawks, and then the Seahawks lose one of their other 3 remaining games. That's how you would win the division. So chances aren't looking great. All right? Not looking great. Let me give you the schedule of these teams that we are watching down the stretch, and you tell me what the likelihood is. So we'll go team by team. Seattle Seahawks going 2-2 and losing to the Rams. Their remaining schedule is Packers at home, Vikings at home, at the Bears, at the Rams. I think there's a good chance that they can lose at least 2 of those games one of them being the Rams. I think that actually there's a really good chance that happens. I actually feel good about that one. Now the Rams, but again, if they go 2-2, so let's say they lost to the Packers and the Vikings, but they beat the Bears and the Rams, they still own the tiebreaker. So one of those two losses has to be to the Rams. It cannot be, they can't lose to the Packers and Vikings and then beat the Bears and the Rams because they still own the tiebreaker over the 49ers. Right? So if they go 2-2 and one of those wins is against the Rams, it's still over. So they have to go 2-2 or worse and lose to the Rams in order for the 49ers to own the tiebreaker over Seattle. Okay? All right. Now, the Rams, once again, if they lose to the 49ers but win their final 3 games, they will own the tiebreaker over the 49ers. Okay. Now, NBH, I don't disagree with this, but is one of those losses to the Rams? Because if it's not, it still doesn't matter. All right. That's very, very, very important. Very important. Okay. Okay. Now, the Rams actually, not Seattle right now, it is the Rams that hold their destiny in winning this division. If the Rams go undefeated, they win their final 4 games, they will win this division no matter what. Believe it or not. Okay. If the Rams go 4-0, they win their division. Now, in this scenario, though, the 49ers, if they go 5-0, that means they are beating the Rams, right? The Rams still, after playing the 49ers, are at the Jets, probably a win, versus the Cardinals, who are completely falling off, and versus the Seahawks. Now, if the Rams win all 3 of those games but lose to the Niners, they still own the tiebreaker over the 49ers. So we would need the Rams to lose to either the Jets or the Cardinals and beat the Seahawks in order for the 49ers to have a chance at winning the division. Okay? After going 4-0 ourselves. All right. Now, the wild card scenario. Let's say we don't win the division, but we go 5-0. We can take the 7th seed away from the Commanders. Okay? If the Commanders go 2-2 and we go 4-0. But here are the Commanders' games. Now, mind you, they're coming off of their bye week, so they are rested, and they are getting Lattimore back. He's going to be making his debut, I assume, this week, oddly enough, against the Saints, okay? So they're coming off their bye, and they start with the Saints. So Commanders play at the Saints versus the Eagles. We could see them losing that game. Versus the Falcons and at the Cowboys. We would need them to go at least 2-2 or worse. 2-2 or worse in order for us to pass them in the wild card standings, and the 49ers would have to go 4-0. Okay? Now, even if we pass them, there's still a chance that the Falcons, the Falcons would make the 7th wild card spot. Okay? So let's assume we don't win the division. Washington goes 2-2. We go 4-0. We don't win the division. Washington goes 2-2. But the Falcons still have an opportunity to hold down the 7th spot if they go undefeated and the Bucs go undefeated. All right? Because if the Bucs go undefeated, they win that division, and then the Falcons go undefeated, they would get the 7th wild card spot, or the 7th spot in the wild card. Okay? In the playoffs, be a wild card team. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So the Falcons, is there a chance they lose a game? Well, certainly. They play the Raiders and the Giants. They play at the Commanders, and then they play the Panthers. So they're at home versus the Raiders, Giants, and Panthers. They play at the Commanders. Okay. The Bucks play at the Chargers, at the Cowboys, Panthers, and Saints at home. Now, the good news is, I don't know if the Falcons lose another one. They're not a great team, but that schedule's doable. But the Bucks are certainly going to lose, I would assume, another one. So I don't think it's likely that the Falcons get the 7th seed. I think we're probably good to go there if we go 4-0. We really got to worry about the Commanders. But here's the thing that sucks. I know it's a lot. But this is the reality of what we're in. There's a lot of things that have to fall into place for us to even have a shot at this thing, okay? They cannot lose another game. You understand me? They cannot. The thing that sucks about this is that we've got to have 4 teams losing games to give us a shot. But those teams play each other. All right? Niner gang, it's not going to happen. You'll have to rewind. The Rams and Seahawks play each other, which means one of them has to win. One of them has to win. And that hurts us. The Falcons and the Commanders play each other, which means one of them has to win. Has to win, which hurts us. All right? So that's why even if the 49ers go 4-0, even if they somehow beat the Rams, the Lions, the Dolphins, and the Cardinals, they still have a 41% chance to not make the playoffs. In fact, this is how bleak it's gotten. The 49ers entering this week had a 7% chance to win the division. Right? 7% chance. They won and now have a 4% chance. I'm going to repeat that. They started this week before the games were played with a 7% chance to win the division. They won and now have a 4% chance to win the division. That Rams win over the Bills absolutely was a crushing blow for the 49ers' chances. Absolutely crushing blow. Yeah, I mean, listen, it may change everything for us, Deebo, but that doesn't change everything for those other teams, unfortunately. Us getting Greenlaw back doesn't mean that that the Rams are going to lose to the Cardinals or Jets. And that's what hurts. Also not good. Also not good. I mean, the 49ers, I haven't looked into it, but most likely are going to have to go 0-4 down the stretch to be in that conversation, or 1-3, I would say. 1-3, and they'd probably be top 10 or borderline top 10. I haven't looked at it. I mean, that's a lot more math. This was like manageable, and you can see that there's a lot going on here. But, and I will also agree with this. We are now, what is the 49ers record? 6-7, 13? So 14 weeks of football have been played. Greenlaw is literally walking into his first game of the season into basically a playoff game after playing 0 football this year. Now listen, I love Greenlaw, and I hope that he gets his career fully back on track. And maybe he can shock the world here. But to think he's going to play 0 football, 0 training camp, 0 anything other than a few practices, and walk onto the field in a playoff atmosphere and be ready to just make a major, major impact On the actual football field, I'm not talking about emotionally, because emotionally, I think him playing does make an impact. It does. But that only carries so much weight if he is not making an impact on the field. For him to make a major impact right away, I'd say those chances are slim to none. Yeah, maybe he's been doing VR. Good. It's a good comment, actually. I enjoy that. That's a good one. I like it. I like it. Alex says, "Hey, CMC did it. Look how that turned out." That my point exactly. It took him about a month to get up to speed, and I am still not sold that he was up to speed. Maybe he was up to speed. Maybe he was up to speed, or maybe the snow slowed everybody else down, and he just looked really good for a game, or 12 plays, or whatever it was. I don't know. I don't know. I think both are possible. So there you go. Right now, the 49ers have a 9% chance to make the playoffs. They actually have a better, by 1%, a better chance to win the wild card than they do win the division itself, which is at 4%. And if the 49ers win out, they would still have a 41% chance to not make the playoffs, which means winning out gives them a 59% chance to make the playoffs. A lot has to happen. The 49ers cannot control what these other teams do. All they can control is their own games. And so the question now becomes, we talked about what are the chances these other teams go 2-2 or 1-3 or blah, blah, blah. What are the chances that a team that the 49ers can even put themselves in a position to have a chance by winning these final four? Because we're talking about a team that has not won more than 2 games in a row all season long. All season long. And it's great you beat the Bears the way that you did. That was the most complete game they've played all season long. But the Rams are a completely different beast right now. And they're not even the best team you play. You still have to play the Lions. But the Rams are the next game. And the Rams are 6-2 since their bye. And Matthew Stafford has thrown 16 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. He's got a 4-1 touchdown to interception ratio over the last 8 games, and the Rams are 6-2. They've beaten the Vikings, who are a 2-loss team, right? And they've beaten the Bills, who are a 3-loss team. These are not the Chicago Bears. Now, it's a division game. The 49ers definitely have a chance to win this game. I'm not saying they don't. Spoiler alert, I will not be picking them to win this game. That doesn't mean anything. I didn't pick them to win the Bears game. So, joke's on me. I hope that they win. But the likelihood that the 49ers run off 5 in a row after not winning more than 2 all year long, I think is very, very slim to none. All right. Okay. Dave says, that's my jam. Hole in the wall, Mexican food. Okay. Appreciate you. Throwback. I did not. You said you had a super chat. Hey, Jesse, did you get my dollar super chat? No, I didn't. I did not. I'm scrolling back through to see if I can find it. No. Did you send it before the show started? If you sent it before the show, then I definitely won't have it. Anybody that sends a super chat before the show, it usually times out. Like I lose it. Comments, like if you comment before the show, if it's like hours before the show, then those go away, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't see it, bud. What'd you say? Oh, no, it didn't come through. It didn't come through. It's all good though. What were you planning on saying? I'll answer your question. Nice. Nice. Uh don't be depressed. Listen, this is football. All right? This is football. This is not end of the world life stuff. If you have your health, then you're blessed. Don't be depressed. All right? Can't say anything for a dollar. I don't know. Can you? Can you not? Don't you feel, Jesse, that the Niners play best when hope is small? Last season, early start is rare. Um, I mean, they did it in 2019 as well. Didn't they start 8-0? I mean, the two deep runs they've made, half of them they started out great. The other half they had to claw from behind. Yes, I think 49ers teams of the past might have played best with their back against the wall. Unfortunately, even if the 49ers do kick it into gear and somehow win these final four games, there's still, I mean, there's still a 41% chance that they don't make the playoffs, man. You know what I mean? And that would suck. That would suck if, unfortunately, they went 5-0 and still didn't make the playoffs. That would be a gut punch. Daza says, do you think we could trade CMC with the emergence of Garendo? Can Mason and Garendo not be our Gibbs and Montgomery going forward? I think they could. I don't know that they'll be that good, but they could for sure. But Mason's got to stay healthy now, too. I mean, Mason and Garendo both being the bell cow. Now, obviously, and in fact, Mason wasn't the bell cow. He got hurt when he was a bell cow, and then he uh, got hurt again in just a few carries. So he's got to prove he can stay healthy at this point. 49ers Throwback says fans forget that these players are human beings. Unfortunately, John Chapman made it worse. I know he blocked you. That dude should have deleted his account. Yeah, that was pretty crappy. I'm not gonna lie. I listen, at the end of the day, I I'm not I don't the whole cancel culture thing is weird to me. Like people are free to do and say as they please. Uh the whole, oh, we got to cancel this guy to just don't watch him. Don't watch him. And not just him, anybody. Just stop paying attention to the people that you want quote unquote canceled. That's how you cancel somebody. You keep your mouth shut and you stop paying attention to them. Okay? But yeah, what he said was pretty trash. Pretty trash. Uh Honestly, I'm not surprised at all. There's a lot of crap that goes on behind the scenes that you guys wouldn't even know. You'd be shocked. But I'm not surprised. Just apologize, man. It's not that hard. Like, I think he has kids. He's got a wife. You said something stupid. It happens. We all say stupid stuff. We all do stupid stuff. Just apologize and move on. It's not that hard. You apologize, you move on. Everybody forgets it in a week, and you're good for the most part. There will be some people that are like, troll you, whatever. And you did say something pretty crappy. But to not apologize and just keep it pushing, that's weird. Because not doing that not only shows that you said what you said, but you genuinely like have zero remorse. That is a little weird. But I also think cancel culture is extremely strange. So, Yeah, it's all on Twitter. It is what it is. Tis is what it is. Where are you seeing that? Where because I've seen in two different places 9%. How do they have a 25% chance? Because I just laid out multiple scenarios that even if they go 4-0, they still don't make the playoffs. I gotta imagine that there's no way they've got a 1 in 4 chance to not only go 4-0, but also have all the other things that need to fall into place for them to make it into the playoffs. I got to see that source. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I gotta put eyes on that one. That just does not sound right at all. At all. All day everyday Kim says, Jesse, some of these media dudes need to be gagged like Mr. Spreadsheets and make me certain people he likes the second coming. And making whatever. Everybody, here's my thing is like everybody's entitled to their opinions. Like who cares? Who cares if you have a different opinion? Now, to me, as long as you can like intelligently talk about it, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about, do you actually believe what you're saying, and can you intelligently talk about it? That's fine. That's it. That's all it comes down to. I mean, that's all sports is. Nobody's right 100% of the time. If you put yourself out there, you're going to be wrong a lot. And just don't be disingenuous. Like don't have crazy hot takes just for the sake of having hot takes and getting people to tune in. Like actually believe what it is that you're saying. And as long as you do that and you can intelligently talk about it, whatever. I mean, like I said, I always encourage everybody to check out everybody's content. I'm not the guy that's like, don't watch this guy. You shouldn't watch him. If you don't like what somebody says, don't watch them. But don't ask for them to be canceled and crap either. So they've lost 4 games and got blown out twice, first by the Packers and then by the Bills. So you do the math. They scored 20 points in those 2 games. How pathetic is that? Okay. I mean, the math still says the same. JC Montana says, Jesse, will you ever do a show again with Larry? I love those shows. I think a lot of people like those shows. Never say never. Never say never. I don't foresee it happening, but I wouldn't say never. I don't like what you say, Dave. How about that? How about that? Cash me outside. How about that? Let's see. Anything else? Anything else on your mind before we get out of here? That's true. Self-proclaimed. Never been wrong. Also true. Also true. Yeah, it's not likely that they make it, but the opportunity, 9%, man. Listen, I'll say this to anybody that says no chance, which I mean, hyperbole, right? We know statistically there's a 9% chance. I will say this, Daryl. If you were told that you've got what seems to be a terminal illness, but the doctor said you had 9% chance to live, buddy, you would cling to that 9% like it was 99%. Right? So 9% in this scenario, yes, it's not life or death, but 9%, man, if you don't think the 49ers are clinging to that 9% like it's 99%, You got another thing coming because they're looking at that 9% going, okay, as long as we still got a chance, we're hanging on to that baby. We are hanging on to it, man. So you're telling me there's a chance. Yeah. You are telling me there's a chance. All day, every day, Kim. Oh, I already got that one. All day, every day, Kim says, what happened between you and Larry? Nothing specifically happened between Larry and I. I just chose to not make shows with him anymore. Personal preference. I got multiple reasons, but none of that needs to be talked about here. Stopped many months ago. And yeah, that's it. But Larry's killing it. I have no personal beef with Larry. I hope you guys support Larry if he's your guy. And he's crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. And his son, Kevin, is a great producer as well. Does a really, really good job. It's a good tandem. So there. But just a personal reason. Reasons, I should say. All day, every day, Kim says, I know your Lions homie is stupid pumped. He is, but like every Lions fans, they are worried about those injuries, and they should be. They got a ton of them. And it's one thing to make it through the regular season, but they got to get some of these good players back before the playoffs if they really want to make a serious run at this. And then all day, every day, Kim says the 49ers got about as much of a chance. Oh, did my camera just go off? Oh, you stupid camera. Hold on. Should be able to hear me still. Oh, I see what happened. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I got a cover thing over it, and it just overheated on me. I kept the cover thing on it, so it likely might do it again. That's my bad. All day, every day, Kim says 49ers got about as much of a chance as making the playoffs as Lloyd Christmas and getting that girl. Is it Silly? Slappy? Swanson? Samsonite. So close. Why don't you come over? What was it? Why don't you come over 6:45 or 6:45? Make it 7:45. So many quotables in that movie. I haven't seen that movie in probably 15 years. So many good quotables in that one. Yeah. 7:45. Why don't you come over 7:45? Make it 7:45. Okay. I know. Internal temp. I had this stupid thing on my camera. Oh yeah, is that what it was? Or was it 7:45 and he says, "How about 7:45?" I don't remember. Either way, super funny. I think Dumb and Dumber. I think for me, Dumb and Dumber, Happy Gilmore, Zoolander. Those are like Zoolander for me is like the most quotable movie. Low key might be my favorite comedy of all time. Zoolander is a really good comedy. And the first time I saw it, I hated Zoolander. Hated it. Then I saw it again, and it might be my favorite comedy. Old School's a good one too. Dumb and Dumber or Lyle and Sorensen. Nice. Alex with two X's. Stupid Rams and their stupid chances to make in the playoffs. Oh man, Niners football or a movie review. Well played. Billy Madison's a good one. Yeah, Billy Madison's a good one. Old School's definitely good. I do like Old School. Euro Trip's a funny one. There's a lot of really good comedies. I feel like it's been a long time since a real good, like, stupid comedies come out. Am I mistaken on that? I felt like there just used to be multiple stupid comedies a year. I mean, all the Farley movies, you had all the Adam Sandler movies. Then you fast forward, you had Will Ferrell, uh, Ben Stiller. Like these guys were always making dumb comedies, man. What happened to these days or those days? Anchorman, yep, another good one. Another good one. Dave says, hated Zoolander so much, then I watched it 39 more times. Oh, another one. Another quotable movie is Office Space. Oh, man. Office Space, so quotable. It's like a cult classic. Cult classic. Office Space is top notch for sure. Harold and Kumar, Dude, Where's My Car? Those are good ones too. Yes, Anchorman. In the Army Now. Yeah, remember, Pauly Shore. Whatever happened to Pauly Shore? Jesse, check out Dear Santa, new kids movie. Okay. I'll have to check it out. I will say that like some of the animated movies, kids movies have done a pretty good job of being funny. I think the Lego Batman is hilarious. Tropical Thunder, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Jack Black, okay. Yeah, I mean, yes, Friday as well. Friday as well, of course. Friday is a great movie. Oh, it's not animated? Okay. Well, animated movies are pretty good, some of them. Waterboy, gosh, man, you guys are some great movies, man. Great movies. Bad Santa was a good I love Bad Santa. That's a good movie. Bad Guys was funny animated film. Okay. All right. Jesse, what do you think of Jalen Moore? I feel he has done a good job of taking over for Trent while he is gone. Is there something there? Man, this guy is a conundrum wrapped up in an enigma. I don't know what to think of Moore. I really don't. Remember when Moore was drafted, that initial press conference, they talked about him as if he was going to play guard for them. Now, he has not played guard at all. NBH says American Pie, also a great movie. He's not played guard at all. He's played only tackle. So to me, they saw him as a guard. They drafted him to be such, but they haven't played him as a guard. I felt like he was playing out of position for years. Excuse me. He was playing out of position for years. And it showed every time he played. But now, all of a sudden, he looks pretty good. He looks pretty good. So I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. I guess let's just keep seeing it. Keep seeing it. And we'll go from there. Hey, so predictions for Thursday. I know you're gonna do a show with Jake. I think I'm gonna pick the Rams to win, but I don't know the score yet. I'll know for sure tomorrow. And then because we do the NFC West roundtable, and then after that we record our future pick show, which usually drops on Thursday, but this week will drop, I imagine, I guess maybe Thursday or Wednesday. So I'll know for sure tomorrow what my prediction is. And then Wednesday on this show, Behind Enemy Lines with Jake, I will have the official prediction. Do I read all the super chats? I do. I'm not the one that pulls them up. Zbot is the one that runs that stream, but I do read them all. Yes. Yeah. As long as it's not, and he'll bring them all up on screen as long as you're not saying something like super inappropriate. He'll bring them up. Yeah, man, Arizona they were a year away, man. They were a year away from being realistically competitive, and they way outkicked their coverage this year. You got to give them some credit, man. But this collapse is not surprising. Yeah, John Candy movies, heck yeah. There does need to be mods. I'll talk to them. I'll talk to them. If you want to be one, you can. PJ says, thank you, Jesse, for taking the time to read us. By us, I assume you mean the comments. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you for commenting. I appreciate it. Dodgeball, also another really good movie. Very good. Grandma's Boy, very good movie. Just thinking of all these comedies. All right. I think that does it. I appreciate y'all. I'll be doing a lot tomorrow. I don't know that I'll do a show here. If I do, it'll probably be a call-in. And then I have Behind Enemy Lines on Wednesday and then the post-game show on Thursday. So there is that. Looking forward to it. Appreciate y'all for showing love as always. Much appreciated. I'll be back somewhere tomorrow. 4-man front, coach's channel. For sure I'll be there. Then I'll be doing the NFC West roundtable. Listen, if you're not subscribed to the NFC West roundtable, please just do. It's behind enemy lines every week, but on steroids because all 4 NFC West teams are represented and the chat goes crazy over there. Crazy, man. There's so much fun. Just search NFC West Roundtable. It'll come right up. It's myself representing the 49ers. You got Jake, Ellen Bogan representing the Rams. He's fantastic. You got my guy Brandon, who I do Behind Enemy Lines with for the Seahawks. You got Mike, who I do Behind Enemy Lines with the Cardinals. All really, really good dudes, and it is a lot of fun. So tap in over there every single Tuesday, 9 p.m. in the East. We go live over there for about 90 minutes usually. It's supposed to be 60, but usually it ends up lasting about 90. Shout out Jake. Talks for about 45 minutes of that. No, but it's a good time. So I definitely, if you like Behind Enemy Lines, you will love the roundtable. Check it out, man. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. How about Go Pack? No, I hate that chant. Dude, that chant was a thing of nightmares in the 90s. Go Pack, go. Ugh. It was like a house of horrors when we had to play Brett Favre in the in the Packers. So bad. Anyways, much love, y'all. Talk soon. Peace.